Hello, and welcome to the Loveology podcast, where we talk about love and life with laughter. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Jason.
He's the carefree one.
She's the serious one.
And we're married.
We have been since 2012, and we like to think of ourselves as a couple of loveologists.
Not because we are the experts, but because we just love love.
We enjoy studying and talking about it, so we thought, let's just start a podcast.
A place where we can share what we have learned about love, relationships, and marriage.
You can share what you've learned, and we can all grow together.
So here we are. Are you ready?
Let's get started. Hey, what's up, everybody? Yeah, hope y'all ready. Another day, another dollar, another episode of Loveology Podcast. Hey, love, my host, Ashley Harris.
Hi everyone.
How you doing, love?
I am spectacular.
Okay, I feel it. I feel a little electricity.
You know why?
Why you
Because
feeling?
we are sleep training our baby.
Yes, sleep training is important. This little, what they call
Angel.
little crumb snatchers. Is learning how to go to sleep on his own.
Yes, our daughter, we sleep trained her like way before this. He is like 17 months and he still hasn't been sleeping through the night. So mama is tired. But we getting it right. He's learning very fast.
Yes, he is learning
excited.
fast. I'm excited about it. Wifey, we can have some more alone time to work on this loveology.
Yes, that's right.
So, baby girl, technically, since we had our 1 year anniversary for the Loveology Podcast, shout out for the Loveology Podcast. We've been doing this for over a year. So technically, this is kind of like season 2, right?
No.
You just keep it rolling, huh?
Yeah, you don't want to do seasons.
No, I'm just saying, this is next year. This is, we at it again.
Okay.
So for another year, Loveology Podcast. So what is the first episode of this new era?
All right. We're going to be coming hard as usual.
Okay.
With a lot of fun.
Okay.
But let me also just stop and, say I hope that everyone is well and I hope everyone's family is well.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say that.
Yes.
So we are continuing a conversation, kind of. Before we did our 1 year anniversary episode, we did one about apology. It was entitled "That's Not a Real Apology,"
Mm-hmm.
and we learned about the 5 apology languages.
Yes.
It comes from the same man, Dr. Gary Chapman, who wrote the 5 love languages.
Awesome book.
Right. So, of course, no one is perfect. Of course, we all make mistakes. So in any healthy relationship, there needs to be apologies made because we are going to mess up. Right.
Right.
And also there needs to be some forgiveness.
Yes.
So that is what we are talking about today.
All right. Let's jump. So we're talking about forgiveness today.
Yeah. Once that apology is made, now the offended partner needs to decide whether or not they want to forgive you or not.
And you talk about truly forgiving, not saying I forgive you, but still hold on to grudges.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Let's talk about it then, love.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So some of this information I did get from Mr. Gary Chapman's book, the same book. It was called When Sorry Is Not Enough. It was just another chapter after he discussed all the apology languages. But some of this other information I sourced from various sites on the internet. So jumping right in, is forgiveness hard for you, Jason? What do you think?
Forgiveness, I don't think is hard for me at all.
Why do you think that is?
Partially because I'm forgetful. So I can easily forget what you have done and how that made me feel. So it helps me with forgiving people.
Okay. I think I'm a pretty forgiving person, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it has a lot to do with being a Christian and being raised in the church. That was harped on a lot. Forgiveness was. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I think that for some people who may be struggling with forgiveness,
that was one. I want to throw in something else as well.
okay.
I just know that people make mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I make mistakes. I'm a human being, and we all make mistakes. So, if I want the same grace that people give me when I make a mistake, I should give it.
Yeah. And basically, that's the biblical principle for it too, but it's kind of more pertaining to God forgiving us for what we do. But it's the same concept of like, if we want him to forgive us, then we should learn to forgive other people because we make mistakes and we ask him for forgiveness. And, so why can't you see that other people will make a mistake just like you, and you should forgive them too. So,
I like to use an example like when people want to borrow money, right? And you mad that somebody borrowed money from you and they haven't returned it back on time. So people get so bent out of shape. I understand money is serious, right? But people get so bent out of shape because somebody hasn't returned money to you. But on the flip side, you may have an outstanding credit card bill. You haven't paid these correct collectors. They're calling you for the money that you borrowed. You know what I'm saying? So keep that same energy when you're talking to companies or other people that let you borrow money.
Yeah. Well, I am one of those people that do not like when people don't pay me back.
Well, I mean, I don't like it. Don't get me wrong. I don't like it. But at the same time, don't get so bent out of shape. Just what I would do, I would just put some parameters in place for next time. You might not get any money out of me.
Yes, and I have come to the conclusion, because it does bother me, because I do pay my bills, right? So, like, I personally, if I owe you some money, I'm going to give you the money back, period, right? So, for when a person doesn't return that to me, it is very irritating and frustrating for me.
Right.
But
without any type of conversation, they don't say nothing.
Just don't say nothing. Oh, just forget that I gave you $20.
Yeah. What $20?
So, I do not give money that I'm going to miss, right? Yes. So if I kind of would like for you to return it, but I have been in situations so many times that people didn't return the money that I learned that if I can't miss this money, meaning like if I'm going to be bent out of shape, if I let you borrow it and I don't get it back, I'm not giving it to you. Right. If I have the money to give, and I'm not going to be bent out of shape for it, or I'm not going to be in some sort of financial trouble, then go ahead, you can keep it, basically. But I don't say that. But if they don't give it back, I don't really bring it up.
Right.
But moving forward, I know that you're a type of person that will not return my money and will not even say anything about it. Right. So anyway, and I forgive. Right. Like my trust has been broken a little bit with this, but I forgive them for that.
Right.
But I'm probably not going to give you any money. Right. So this is kind of a good example of something that we are going to talk about later about the, forgiving someone, but the trust being broken, and that needs a little time to be rebuilt now.
Right.
Just because you asked for my forgiveness and I forgive you does not mean that I trust you completely.
Right.
And it's just two totally different things.
Right.
Right. So yeah, I was saying that I think that sometimes people think that if you forgive the person who hurt you, that you're kind of like condoning what they did.
Yeah.
Or you're saying that it's okay. Like, so, because I'm trying to think from a standpoint of people who have a hard time forgiving, because you and I do find it very easy. And I think it is very, very important in a relationship to be forgiving.
Right.
So just trying to put myself in the place of the people who would have a hard time with this. And I could see how they could think that, but really forgiveness is only making you upset and angry.
Right. Exactly.
But I also think that that people may be thinking that forgiveness and reconciling is the same thing too.
But it's not.
It's not. And so that keeps them from forgiving someone, because they think that forgiveness automatically means that I have to let this person back in my life. And that's not the case. So we'll talk about that some more. So anyway, so like I said earlier, we were both raised in the church, and this is something that, we talked about a lot. But both definitions of forgiveness is basically the same thing. And it's, it's an eternal process. It's something that you do, and it really doesn't have anything to do with the partner.
Right.
So I can think of a person that I met that was very unforgiving in the Navy, and he was super bitter and super angry. He was a totally miserable person. And one time we were talking about forgiveness, and his ex-wife I don't know what she did to him, but she did some bad things to him apparently. And I was talking to him about forgiveness, and I said, well, my ex-boyfriend, did some bad things to me, but if he was hungry on the side of the road, I would give him some food. You know what I mean?
Because he's a human being.
Because I've forgiven him, and I would not. How it's okay. And
Right.
he said he would not. He would turn the other way and walk away. I was like, okay, I see what type of person I'm dealing with now.
Right.
This person.
I mean, but we don't know exactly what she did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
I mean, it's
I bet it wasn't that bad.
it may not be. But it could have been.
Even if it was bad, it's still. I don't know. You would have had to do something very, very, very bad, like God forbid, murdering one of my family members or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just cheating on me is not enough for me to hate you that much where I would turn around and, not give you food if you're starving.
Right.
That's at all.
Right.
I don't know about that. But yeah, so that was just like probably the most, I don't know, weird, unforgiving. And he just had a problem with unforgiveness because,
We're just forgiving people.
Yeah. So, just going back to this being like a personal process for you, it's not something it's something to help you heal, right?
Right.
And we talked a lot about this on I think it was our second episode, Love After Heartbreak, and how important it was for us to forgive our exes for what they did. But like you said, it was about, making mistakes and people being human. And also, what I think may help with that, and this is what Dr. Chapman said in his book, as far as understanding the 5 apology languages, which was all about, people have different styles or different ways of receiving and giving apologies.
Right.
So maybe if you know what your partner's apology language is, if they don't do it correctly or the way that you would like to be apologized to, then if you know their language, then you know that they're being sincere.
Right.
So even though they didn't say the words, will you forgive me? Because for some people that's important.
Right.
For you to say, will you forgive me? Even though they didn't say it, they just said, I'm sorry, I take responsibility for that. And, can we please figure out a way to help me not do that anymore or something like that? They are sincere. Now, if you want them to, be better at apologizing to you, then you can express to them that I would really like for you to say, will you forgive me too? I want that to be part of it too.
Right.
But in the meantime, like, okay, this is the way that they apologize and they are sincere. They just need to learn the way that I receive it first. Like if you guys haven't had that conversation yet.
Right.
So I thought that was a good point.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. Like you said, just that's why it's important to know your languages and their languages. And, just like with our love language, even though I like physical touch, just because you don't give me physical touch, you give me quality time.
Yeah.
And, that's your love language. You know what I'm saying? So same thing. That's why it's important to really understand your partner and, and learn how to communicate with them.
Right.
That's part of communication is decoding the message that they send into you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's part of it. So
right.
It's not just what's best suits you. It's understanding what they're trying to say.
Right. Absolutely. So forgiveness and reconciliation.
Okay.
What's the difference?
Forgiveness and okay, so I believe like forgiveness is just, you just say, hey, you forgave them for what they actually done, right? Or what they did. But with reconciliation, it's okay, we put some things in place to, I guess, make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, you make a decision to move forward with this person. So again, you can forgive someone and decide that you don't want to move forward with them.
Right.
Like whatever they did broke the trust too much, or maybe they're just not willing to take the time to rebuild your trust. And so if that's not, what they want to do, then I don't want to move forward with you. That happened to me. Do you have any examples of any people in your life that?
Yeah.
Like who? You want to share a story?
I mean,
well, so y'all never even thought about rebuilding trust or trying to work things out?
No. That don't count. That don't count.
Yeah, you forgiving them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people feel like, oh, you didn't forgive.
No, I forgave.
Yeah.
no, this ain't the route that I want to go.
Oh yeah, so that's why I think this is so important, because it is a big misconception, and people will accuse you of not forgiving a person because you choose not to move forward in the relationship. It's like, no, I forgive them, and I choose not to move forward in a relationship. Maybe they've done this multiple times. They are refusing to turn around, which is repent, know,
right,
and do things differently, or it's just not healthy for us to be in a relationship with one another.
Mm-hmm.
So my ex, my first one that cheated on me, we were going to do 2 different schools, colleges. So long distance relationship, not that long, not that far apart. But, after he cheated, I was like, I forgive you and we can try to make this work, but the trust is just not there. I don't trust you at all. Like, might be willing to move forward with this relationship if you move and start going to my college, going to attending the same college. He didn't want to do that. I can't do it then,
right?
Because the trust's gone.
I mean, we talk about relationships, but we put it in a box of a mutual sexual relationship with the partner, right? Mm-hmm. But also this fits into relationships like friendships.
Everybody,
what I'm saying?
Sort of relationship.
So it's times where your friend can do something wrong, right? And I think we hold them at a higher standard because I guess you hold them at a higher standard than sometimes than your own significant other, because they're your friends, right? But they're human too. They make mistakes too. They can do some things that they was totally wrong, and you might not necessarily should want to just cut them off just because they did that thing. You can forgive them, or you can decide you can forgive them and say, you know what, I don't want to move forward with this friendship. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think some of us have done that as well.
You did that?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of my story? You think I was being harsh?
No.
Yeah.
That's what you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're clearly the victim in this situation. Mm-hmm. You extended a what you call it, a peace leaf or whatever. Olive branch. Yeah. You extended that, but they didn't agree to your terms. So they're just like, okay, we can be back together even though you messed up, and they just slapped your hand out the way.
Right.
Move on.
Yeah, so that brings me to my next point too. This, like, is it possible to easily forgive people? And I think that is, definitely a situation. Right?
You know what? I don't think it's a problem to easily forgive somebody. Mm-hmm. The problem comes when the other person takes advantage of it. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's nothing wrong if you're a person that forgives a lot or easily. It's just you have to know who that person you are forgiving, what type of person they are, because they can take advantage of you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but what about this phrase that we teach people how to treat us?
I mean, you can still teach them how to treat you, right? You can still forgive them, but at the same time, give them. We're gonna have a discussion on how this relationship is gonna go, whether it's a friendship, boyfriend and girlfriend, husband or wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe forgiving is fine, but maybe easily reconciling with the person. So putting whatever happened behind you, maybe that should be the thing of like, well,
somebody could do something to somebody and you say, you know what, hey, I can't, it's all good. I forgive you for it. But from this point forward, this is how this is going to handle. And that can be a 2-minute conversation and it's done. You agree? Okay, let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is one of the kind of the scenarios of reconciliation where you can forgive a person, but we are taking our time to rebuild the trust. I'm definitely a type of person that definitely needs some time to rebuild trust, and I think that's okay. And I don't know how long is too long for whatever hurt that it's like, so Dr. Gary Chapman in his book was also talking about that, like, basically if a person just needs time, they forgive you, but they need time to trust again.
Yes.
So definitely it can be a bad thing not to hold people accountable. Well, it's always a bad thing not to hold people accountable for bad behavior. Mm-hmm. So again, you can forgive, but we got to take some time to rebuild this trust, and you got to show me that you're going to be doing something different. Right. Jason,
I just take your word for it. If you say you're gonna do something different, okay, cool, let's move on. If you cross the line after you said you was gonna do it, now it could be cut off time. It could be.
So you only give one shot.
No, it just depends. It just depends on the infraction. It depends on how many times you've done it, and so not necessarily once. It just depends. Yeah, I mean, if the infraction is big enough, then you're not even gonna get that one shot. You know what I'm saying? Just like, oh no, we don't play with this. You can't rob a bank and then hide the money in my car because you just asked to borrow it. That's a huge infraction. That's gonna, jeopardize me and my family. You know what I'm saying? So no, I can't. No, you tripping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it just depends.
Okay. Well, let's read what Dr. Chapman says about trust. He says that trust is not a decision. It is rather an emotion. Trust is that gut level confidence that you will do what you said you would do.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, man, that's exactly how I view trust. Is like, do you do what you say you're going to do?
Right.
And if you can't do it, do you communicate why?
Yeah, I think people, that's the main thing that people misinterpret about trust and forgiveness and, all that good stuff. It's communication. You have to communicate, especially if you're the one in the wrong and you're in the wrong. And even though some people just don't like to be in that state of communicating why they didn't do, what they did. Some people look at it as like, well, I'm inferior to you and I have to explain myself. But it ain't about being inferior. It's just the principle of it of, hey, you said you was going to do something. So your word is this, but your actions did something different. Please make the connection on what happened.
Right.
That's all it is.
Right.
So people just, sometimes they don't want to humble themselves and put themselves in that position to explain that, man. But it's very important. Humble yourself, put yourself in that position, explain why your actions didn't meet up with your words, and that can help your relationship grow.
Absolutely. Communication and trust goes hand in hand. So what happens if you do betray your partner and you break trust? Like, how do you rebuild it? I know that you always say you are just so happy that you never cheated on me because you already know. Like,
yeah, but I've betrayed your trust other ways.
Yes,
you know what
sure.
I'm saying? It's like, for everybody out there, I'm not perfect and it ain't nothing super crazy, but at the same time, sometimes our words don't align with our actions. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. So, you do that by, sometimes you don't even know that your words didn't line up with your actions. So you want to, sometimes you can just ask, hey, anything. That's what I like to say. Anytime I do anything that make your eyebrows go up or down, please let me know. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So, the first thing you want to know, you want to recognize that, hey, I done something wrong. Then once you get once you recognize that, then you got to apologize for it. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like an apology is needed, if you've done something wrong, then yeah, you should. And then work on steps on preventing that from happening. You know what I'm saying? So it's all case by case basis, but those are the basic steps that you need to do to get over it and to rebuild and move on.
Yes, absolutely. Dr. Chapman also says, so how do we rebuild trust in a relationship when it has been violated? The answer is by being trustworthy one day at a time. Yeah, absolutely. So I remember dating this guy and we were in the car and he ran a red light.
Yes.
And after that, every time we got up to a red light and I was in the car with him, I was just so afraid that he was going to run the red light.
Well, why did he run the red light the first time?
Because he just didn't have respect for authority and like the law.
Yeah.
That's what he was the type of person that parked in a handicap spot and I was like, I just can't.
Yeah.
You don't even see that as a big deal, but that is very disrespectful.
No, I know. And she's talking about the guy.
Yes.
Because I do see that as a big deal.
Yes.
We have those spots. We have red lights. We have these rules for a reason.
Yes.
Right.
So when he ran the red light, I did tell him, oh man, could you please not do that anymore? Like that, it was very stressful for me. I don't break traffic laws and all this other stuff. And so he said, okay. Right. And then, but every time I would just like, my body would have like a physical reaction of like, oh, I'm scared he's going to run the red light.
Right.
And he kind of was like, well, I already told you I'm not going to do it again and blah, blah, blah. Well, my trust is broken. So it could be something like this, right? It's like, my trust is broken that you are going to do the right thing, especially knowing that you park in handicap spots and all this other stuff.
But when do you know what you did he ever apologize for
Yeah,
it?
he apologized.
So he
after
apologized.
Yeah.
He talked about it. So when do you get over the fact and don't
One day at a time? When he is, I don't know how long it's gonna take until the day that we can roll up to a red light, and I trust that he's not gonna run through it anymore. Like I don't know.
So put that in the same situation as someone cheats on a significant other.
Yeah.
If they, made a total mistake, I shouldn't have put myself in that situation. It's over. I'm not going to do it again. I apologize. When do you get over? So it's just one day at a time for them too.
Yes.
And they have to, so the guy just have to deal with it, or the female, whoever the one that did the cheating, they just got to deal with what the other mate is doing to them.
It depends on what they're doing. Now, of course, you don't have to be subjected to like abuse. You know what I mean? Like verbal abuse and all this other stuff. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Maybe when they first find out, I think
because now the person that was the person that was doing the cheating, now they become a victim technically.
Yeah, if the partner. I don't know. I think that
it's case by case basis, baby.
Yeah, definitely case by case. But if it were me, it would have to be one day at a time. And Dr. Chapman also says in his book that trust is not fostered by secretiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Chapman also says in his book, trust is not fostered by secretiveness, but by openness. So if you cheated on me, and I want to know who you're talking to on the phone, I need you to tell me.
Okay, I tell you then.
Okay. You send an email. I need to see.
Okay, you see it.
Hey, I don't know how long we have to do this.
But what if they start asking what type of sexual positions were you in?
Well, we already talked about that in our infidelity episodes. We aren't talking about that. We're talking about rebuilding trust. And basically, if you need to open up your whole life, if he gives an example in the book, if the offense was in the area of money, if you need to say, here's the checkbook, this is the example that he gave, here's the savings account, here are all of our finances, I need to, here, look at all of this so you can trust me. You have access to all of this.
Right.
You can look at it anytime you want to.
Right.
Or if you cheated, you can look at my phone anytime you want to. You know what I mean? Yeah. Until that person has to do their own work, but the actions that you need to take is to be completely open with them.
Right.
And like
do you think that sometimes the victim of, let's say you got cheated on, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think sometimes the person who got cheated on, the victim, kind of gets them back a little bit when it's time to go through this reconciliation process or whatever?
No, if you've forgiven, if you have forgiven the person, you don't want revenge.
Right.
So forgiveness is the only way to reconciliation.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to be mean and malicious towards you.
You might not, but what about somebody else?
If a person has truly forgiven, you don't want to revenge.
And how do you tell, what are some telltale signs to know if this person is just being mean and they really don't even have any plans to be with you in the future? They just sitting there for the next year, sucking up your money, sucking up your, and just making you feel terrible. And they're out possibly doing their own thing now.
I think forgiveness is not, you wouldn't want to make me feel terrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, it's a difference between saying, I need to see what you're doing. I need to know what you're doing, than me talking down to you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or doing any sort of revengeful sort of things like going out and cheating. You haven't forgiven this person.
Right.
If you feel like you need to go hurt them because they hurt you. And that's why forgiveness is so hard, because especially in situations like that, because you do. Sometimes the first reaction is I want them to feel what I felt. I
Right.
want them to be hurt. It's not fair that they get to hurt me
Mm-hmm.
and they are not hurt. Like,
Right.
and I have to forgive them and move on. And, no, it's kind of not fair, but it's like, it is what it is,
Right.
And I think that if they really care about you, they will be hurt that they hurt you,
Right. Right. Well, I think this is definitely a good discussion. We're going to have a live discussion on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Go check us out on Facebook Live. We want to hear from you guys. Also, if you got questions, email us at loveologypodcast@gmail.com. This is definitely going to be a good discussion, babe.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it will be. So Dr. Chapman gives an example about people speaking to him when they say, I think I've forgiven my spouse, but some days I feel like I haven't because I really don't trust him. He said this struggle comes because they are confusing forgiveness and trust is two totally different things.
Yes.
So
yes.
if you
can forgive him for the action, but you just still don't trust that he's going to do the right thing in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, I think this is so important to clear up because if you are the person who offended the partner or cheated or, made the offense, the offender.
Right.
You may feel like your partner has not forgiven you because they don't trust you.
Right.
It's like, no. So it maybe is good for you to know this too, that just because they want to see evidence of that they can trust you again, it doesn't mean that they haven't forgiven you.
Right.
They have. They
right.
just, their trust is broken.
Right.
So he started moving on to talking about the fact that.
And just real quick, I wanted to kind of break it down to layman's terms a little bit. So think about this. Let's say you have a favorite car that you like, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you wanted to, you were getting ready to go to work, and the car broke down on you,
Mm-hmm.
right? You go get it fixed, right? And so that you forgave the car for breaking down on you, right?
Uh-huh.
But let's say you have an important interview coming up. Will you take that car, or are you gonna take the newer car that you have at your disposal? You're probably gonna take that newer car because you trust you're gonna make sure that it's gonna get you to point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So just because you don't want to drive that car to your new interview for that new job with the big pay
mm-hmm.
raise doesn't necessarily mean you haven't forgave the car because if you didn't forgive it, you would have got rid of it. Right.
It's like, no, I still think you will work, but right now I don't trust that you're going to get me there.
Exactly.
So
it takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if I keep driving you and you don't break down, then I'll trust you again.
Just me.
Yeah. So, yep, I get it. Good analogy. So I guess I just kind of want to wrap that section up with saying, again, you can have forgiveness without reconciliation. However, you cannot reconciliate without forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot reconcile without forgiveness.
Yes, I can rock with you on that.
Now let's move on to this topic of forgive and forget.
Okay.
Jason is definitely forgetful. But they say that, people say that a lot, but don't you find that kind of hard though when something real impactful happens to forget?
To forget?
Yes.
Something that really impactful?
Yeah, something like a deep trust.
Yeah.
Issue.
Yeah. Certain things, like I am forgetful on certain things, but certain things I can remember when I was 2 years old. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I think it does. I think that's for everybody. You know what I'm saying? The bigger the offense or the bigger the situation, you will remember. Like, people gonna always remember this coronavirus situation,
right?
To the day you die, you're gonna remember this, right? Because it was very impactful. But even though 9/11 was a very major impactful thing as well, but you don't remember all the details of what was you doing during that time. Some people can, some people can't, depending on how close to them it was, right?
Right.
So yeah, I just think it just depends on the situation, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And so, you've done a good job at not bringing up the one time early on in our relationship that I really kind of violated your trust, and we called it the Dubai deception.
The Dubai deception. Mm-hmm.
But that was a big moment. Like I broke your trust a little bit.
Yeah. My baby got a little slick in her.
We told the story
It wasn't
before.
that big. It's not that big of a deal.
Should we tell the story again?
I mean, quickly. It was just a quick.
Yeah, quick. I was in the Navy, deployed. I knew that Jason would forget if I told him what time we would be in Dubai.
Right.
And he wanted to go to Dubai. I did not because of financial reasons, but
We had plenty of money.
well, I didn't know that you wanted to come to Dubai. I thought you was just coming to see.
She thought see it was like a lot of birds with one stone. My primary reason of going to Dubai was to see her. Yes, but it was one. It was that's my primary. But this is so not even it's not even a secondary. It's like a primary too. It's to go to Dubai. Like I love to travel, and Dubai at that time and still is a hot spot of the world. Yeah, I want to go to Dubai. My wife's gonna be there. And it's like, man, this is awesome.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that Dubai was just like, oh my God, this is the most wonderful place that everybody wants to go.
She's not a traveler like me.
I am. That just wasn't on my list.
Clearly,
I want to go to Africa. Africa.
Yeah.
And I want to go to Greece and some other places. Dubai just wasn't on the list.
Yeah.
But apparently, this is just, oh my God, everyone wants to go there. So.
Yeah.
So anyways, I kind of tricked him, basically. I just did not remind him that I was going to be there. And so I called him from Dubai. And he was like, what?
Yeah. You see, what she don't know, I could have just jumped on the plane and went on out there. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to let this one ride.
Yeah. Did you already say that I was like almost home? Like I was just a few weeks away from coming home too? That was also in my mind when I thought
that was your mind. That's why I wasn't worried about that.
Yeah.
If I can see you early, if I haven't seen you in 7 months, haven't seen my wife in 7 months, and this is our first year of marriage, if I can see her earlier or later, which one do you think I'm gonna pick? I'm gonna pick early, right?
So I'm just like so hardcore. I'm just like, dude, I'm gonna be there in a few more. We've already waited. In my mind, we've already waited this long. Why are you gonna spend all this money to come to Dubai, fly all the way to Dubai to see me when I'll be home in a few weeks?
Perfect time to reunite, make more stories.
I'm sorry again, honey.
All that good stuff. It's all good, man. We passed that. We're gonna go again. Still haven't been.
Okay. Yes.
And that was what? Damn near
7 years
6 years ago. 7 years ago. Yeah. So we still haven't been, but we're going to go.
Yes. So, in his chapter about forgiveness, Dr. Chapman entitles a section, What Forgiveness Cannot Do. And there's a portion that I really like, and it reads like this. It is one of the fundamental realities of life when we commit actions or speak words that are detrimental to another. The consequences of those actions and words are never fully removed, even with genuine forgiveness. The second reality is that forgiveness does not remove all painful emotions. So, again, this whole idea of forgive and forget, who came up with that? Because that's not true, right?
Right.
They should say forgive and let go. Right?
Yes.
I think that's we'll
I like that
we'll coin that one, right?
Forgive and let go.
Because that's what you're doing. But there's no way, if it was very painful, that you can really forget that event in your life.
Right.
It's etched into your memory.
Right.
But you can let go of it and decide to move forward with this person. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is also important to remember because we should be careful what we do, understanding that it will always be there. It will always be there.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel you on that.
So in that situation, it's all about focusing on the future and, not letting our minds just continuously dwell on the past. So, yeah, forgiveness. We've learned a lot.
Yes, for sure.
But definitely the important thing is apologies, forgiveness, reconciliation. It's all part of a cycle. And forgiveness is very important in a relationship. Yeah,
I mean, we all should look within ourselves because, like I said, we're all humans. We all make mistakes. So I'm pretty sure it's some things that you have done that didn't line up with your words. So, like I said, the same grace that you want for that person, you should give to the next person. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a flow thing. So same thing with, so let's say you starting a business, so to speak. You know, you have a t-shirt business, and you know, you want celebrities, or you want somebody to, you know, help you, you know, along the way. You may just, you know, share my post or do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking for help, but at the same time, you have to open your eyes, because you have some people that's asking for your help for
Right.
certain things.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be for a business. It might be just to put some food on the table. It might be to help run them to the store. You know, you want to keep that energy flowing, right? That's what it is. They say keep that same energy, but yeah, you want that same energy flowing. So you want to give back to the people that want to get to your point. Therefore, it'll be more karma, for you'll get more help from above, help pulling you forward.
Mm-hmm.
So you just want to keep that energy flowing. If you want help, you got to help other people.
Right.
If you want love, you got to love other people. You want forgiveness, you got to forgive other people.
I love it, Jason. I think it's awesome.
Oh yeah. Glad you love it.
Yes.
I hope the question is, do our listeners love it? So hopefully you guys, you heard some things that you like, that you love. And if you do, you know, I always say just share it. Share that thing. Keep
Absolutely.
that same energy. If you feel like this is helping you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Help other people, right?
Yep.
The more you help other people, the more you will get helped,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think that's what this is all about.
Absolutely. Jason, I would like to do something different.
What you gonna do?
I would like for us to say what we're grateful for.
What we
because
grateful
we
for.
are in a very stressful time right now.
Yes,
And I think that gratitude helps keep everybody's spirits up.
for sure.
So maybe we can do this until we come out of the pandemic, or continue to do it.
Yeah.
But I think it might be nice.
So what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for you.
Oh. What else?
I almost made Jason cry.
No, I almost burped.
What else?
Yeah.
No, I really am. I'm grateful for you.
You're just grateful for me.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
grateful that you killed that big bee yesterday.
Well, I didn't kill it, y'all. It was already
Dying.
dying.
Okay, so I was so afraid that it was the Asian giant hornet.
Hornet and bee are two
Because I've
different
never seen a bee this big.
things. Yes, she has.
So I still suspect that this is not a bee.
It
I
was
think
a
it's
bee.
the Asian
It
giant
had
hornet.
pollen on his legs and everything. We got a picture of it.
I should post the picture. Say,
Yeah.
look at this big bee.
Yeah.
So yes.
But no, I'm definitely grateful for you, love.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful for just a lot of things. I'm grateful that we're waking up every day.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that we have food and water. I'm grateful that we have shelter. So I'm grateful that we our family is together. I'm just grateful.
All right. Awesome.
And that's what we have for today, man. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to us, man. Thank y'all so much from the bottom of our hearts. Share the love, share the podcast, and we're going to catch y'all next time. Anything else, love?
That's it.
All right, y'all.
That's all.
Peace out.
You've been listening to the Loveology podcast. Did you have fun with us today? Tell a friend about our show. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to keep the conversation going. Be sure to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Visit us at loveologypodcast.com. Thanks for listening. Until next time, Loveologists.